Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The Timeline is a Blue Wire podcast. Welcome to the Timeline of Phoenix Suns podcast. My name is Mike, here with Sam. How you doing, Sam?
The number one Boston Celtics enjoyer has logged on. I am so sorry, folks. I am so sorry to start the episode in this way, but we are recording now as the Boston Celtics have just eliminated the Indiana Pacers in a sweep. And guys, we all got to get on the same page. You might not be huge Boston fans or huge Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Bill Simmons fans, whatever. Someone has to put an end to this Dallas Mavericks nonsense. Someone has to put an end to it. And if anyone has a chance to do it at this point, it's got to be the Boston Celtics. Mike, real quick, I know this is going to be our draft episode. We're talking about our first real look at the NBA draft, which is less than a month away. Do you have any opinions on what's probably going to be a Boston-Dallas finals?
Congratulations to Jaylen Brown on his victory of the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Finally earning the largest NBA contract ever. I think that's all it takes. So good for him. Especially, take anything away from Jason Tatum, I'll appreciate that. I'm not excited about it at all. I almost don't want to watch, but I think I will. I always get sucked in at some point. The only time I didn't watch was after the Suns got absolutely embarrassed, which did happen this year, but in a completely different and somehow less demoralizing way than against the Mavericks in the past.
See, okay, so you say this now, but I think you're gonna come around and hate watch the entire series. I think you're gonna hate watch
I probably will. Actually,
because imagine this. Let me talk you into it. Like a Boston prevailing over Dallas, but like Derek White wins Finals MVP. That's great, right? Like, isn't that great?
Sounds amazing.
All the haters win in our own way. Like, we all win.
It's true. I mean, although you did have a slight tirade. You did have a slight tirade against the Derek White All-Star campaign in the middle of the season, so I'm not sure if you win on that one.
Sure. Well, okay. I mean, we all lose, but we win in the aggregate. Do you know what I mean? Like, we all still lose. The Suns literally lost.
Because Luka doesn't win, Jason Tatum doesn't win. Is that what you're saying? That's all it takes.
We're trying to build a wall against Luka Doncic winning his first his first championship, folks, by any means necessary. Whatever it takes. Boston, you are our last line of defense. Good luck.
All right, coming up later in this podcast, our friend Damon, our draft guy, our very own draft guy, is joining us to talk about the NBA draft and play a little two prospects and a lie with us later in the episode. So we're going to talk a lot about the draft there. And of course, this beginning of this podcast is going to be no different except for how different it's going to be. And that's because Shams Charania, I mean, as soon as the Shams notification hits with the Phoenix Suns as the first three words of his tweet, my heart starts beating out of my chest. But this one said the Phoenix Suns will conduct a workout with Bronny James ahead of the June NBA draft. Sources say Phoenix has the 22nd pick, and he is among several players in consideration. Bronny has over 10 workout invites, but is expected to only visit a few teams, including the Lakers and the Suns. And let me tell you, as soon as that went out, the grifters were so excited, and they were all over it. Because, listen, there's nothing like a Bronny James, that name being dropped in an article to really drive clicks. And look, hey, we're doing it right now on this podcast, but we have to talk about it. What was your first reaction when you saw that tweet?
Good for Bronny that, he has teams interested in him. I guess maybe that wasn't my first reaction. I think, I don't think I had any exciting reaction to Shams' tweet. It's more the clusterfuck of everything that came afterwards that makes me almost like I think we do need to address it, if only to tell people or remind people that this is peak aggregation season. And like, let's be a little bit more literate about some of the sources we're consuming, folks, and not spread obvious garbage. I know people fall for it every year. But yeah, that's all I want to.
People just want something to talk about it, I think. Anything that gives you an excuse to talk about it, I understand. I think here's how I want to approach this. Do you think the Suns are considering Bronny James at the 22nd pick?
If they're working him out, then yeah, I guess you could say yeah, they are.
I think it's possible they are. I think it's possible they aren't. I think there's multiple ways to look at this. Is it a favor? Could it be a favor? Yeah. Is it entirely, the fact that he's related to LeBron James and maybe they're trying to figure out a way to get LeBron James here? Maybe. Or maybe they genuinely look at him as a prospect because of his dad, who could actually become a successful NBA player, and they want to have the opportunity to work out with him and see him in person before they completely write him off of the list of players that they're looking at drafting. It could be just as simple as it's a real workout, which is not that crazy. And maybe he goes undrafted. I don't think he will go undrafted, but maybe he does. And if he does go undrafted, hey, the Suns just got a G League team, and they could use somebody like Bronny James out there in Tempe selling tickets to the Valley Suns. And so I guess my question to you, here's how I look at it. No reporting, right? We don't do any reporting on this podcast. Do you think that Matt Ishbia is like, well, we got to bring him in just to see if there's any way to get LeBron James?
It's entirely possible. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Matt has that attitude, just given what the limited information we have about him.
I think it's incredibly likely that he's at least entertaining the idea of let's just see if there's any way to do this.
But here's the aspect that we haven't even talked about it yet. So there's Bronny the player, who obviously, or Bronny the prospect, who everyone knows isn't really worth a first-round pick, but maybe he'll get some play there just because of of who he is. And but then there's the aspect of what came afterwards, which is people theorizing that by drafting Bronny at 22 this year, that if LeBron declines his player option, the Suns would be able to sign him for a veteran minimum contract this summer. We have joked about that probably multiple times on this podcast in the past several weeks. Mm-hmm. We were never serious about it. I don't think anyone who's joked about this has ever been serious about it. So let's be very clear that is a garbage proposition. It's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. Anyone who's floating the idea that that's going to happen this summer is selling you garbage. You should not listen to them. They are not serious. They shouldn't be in this industry, okay? Let's be clear. Let's be very clear. Pay attention to the sources. Always pay attention to the sources. If every tweet that someone puts out is just a picture and a bunch of words, and they never send you to a link of their actual work, if they don't post work elsewhere, if all they're ever doing is stealing from other people and passing it off as their own, just block that person and move on, guys.
Or if it comes from the perspective of, I could see Matt Ishbia being interested in this, then that's just a logical conclusion to come to, I think, right? You're just saying that maybe Matt Ishbia is interested in LeBron. Of course. If you could convince any superstar to take a minimum contract, I think the Suns would be interested in doing that. There's nothing groundbreaking there. But from a LeBron James perspective, we know what LeBron James wants to do. He wants to own an NBA team after he retires. Right now, the expected buy-in for the expansion teams, which is supposedly what he's interested in buying, the Las Vegas team, that's the word, it's over $2 billion. That's more than twice as much as what LeBron James is currently worth. And we're talking about a guy turning down a lot of money, maybe 50 plus, maybe $100+ million
maybe
if he signed.
Yeah. I mean,
for multiple years,
if he's got 2-3 years left in him, if he does, it's $150 million maybe that he needs. He
pretty
needs
stupid.
That if he wants. Yeah, he can't just be. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I know LeBron makes a ton off of endorsements and all that, but he's not turning down $100+ million, which is basically like, that's probably everything he made in the first half of his career through salaries combined that he could now earn in his age 41 seasons. He's not turning that down. He's going to get it from someone, probably the Lakers.
Yeah. And even from the perspective of who he is and his power in the industry, what's more likely that they do everything in their power with the massive agency that's associated with him, with his power in the NBA, to ensure that his son gets picked to the team that he's currently on and the team that he could sign a max contract with? Or he just lets his son get picked anywhere and then follows him there for a minimum contract? It makes zero sense for him to do that. If he does, I'm happy to eat some crow here. Throw the egg all over my face. Well, fine.
Can we talk about the other the other aspects of this, which is, okay,
yeah.
Let's say we eat crow. Let's say he does come to the Suns. What a historical train wreck we're setting up next year's team to be. Right? Isn't that the other angle here, which is like, you go through this season, no real chemistry between your three stars, and, you obviously need more depth and role players around them, and you flop on your face. And then your reaction to that is, let's get the greatest player, the second greatest player ever. That'll fix it.
Let's get a Team USA here. Basically.
LeBron doesn't drive anymore. He just shoots three. I mean, he's great, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't really drive anymore. He doesn't fix the Suns' issues. They would still
I think he fixes a lot of the Suns' issues.
They would still have these endemic issues. And like maybe you win the championship. Maybe you win the championship with LeBron, KD, Beal, and Booker. But you know what? You'd still be a lot more likely to flame out in the first or second rounds. And the absolutely all-time clowning that this organization would receive when that result inevitably happens would be like nothing we've ever seen.
The next possibility, of course, is that they're actually interested in drafting Bronny James without the idea of LeBron James coming. How do you feel about that?
That's not true. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
What if it does?
I like your theory. I like your theory that they're bringing him in for a workout, and if he goes undrafted, they have a relationship already. If the Suns truly perceive Bronny as worthy of a 22nd pick on his own merit, not at all considering the relationship with his dad, then I mean, I just have no faith in the Suns scouting department at that point. I don't watch college basketball. You guys know that. But I can read a stat sheet. You want me to read Bronny James' stats real quick?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Hold on. I have to actually pull up the page. Give me 15 seconds.
I think that the most likelihood is that the highest likelihood based on this Shams Charania tweet, even though he does say Phoenix has the 22nd pick and he's among several players in consideration, that, Shams Charania works for agents a little bit, and the Suns are not above doing favors for agents, and because no team is. And the fact that Shams Charania tweeted out that Bronny could be picked 22nd overall, I mean, agents like that kind of stuff. Like, they really do like that kind of stuff. And I think the highest likelihood for me is that he's not working out at a ton of teams, Bronny. I mean, he has 10 workout invites, but is expected to only visit a few teams. That's from Shams Charania's report. And if he's only going to work out at a few teams, Lakers is clearly going to be one of them. His dad basically owns that entire franchise right now. And the second one, who's LeBron James' one of his closest friends?
James Jones.
James Jones.
Yeah, well, maybe he's only working out at a few teams. Maybe he's only working out at a few teams because only the teams in the 50-plus range are interested, except for the Phoenix Suns, James Jones, who's doing a favor. So I have the stats here. 4.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, 2.1 assists, 37 from the field, 27 from three, 68 from the free throw line. I know he was a freshman. These are not numbers. Like, you take the rawest 18-year-old prospect imaginable, and if they have those stats, you don't take them in the first round.
He did, and I'm not saying he's going to be better than people expect, but he did have, like, a severe heart problem.
No, I know.
That impacted his overall season. I'm sure that he's very much capable of being better than that. Will he? I don't know. But it's something to be factored in. And if you're a team saying, hey, this could be something where you can get some value in this, I'm not saying it's possible. I'm just saying that that's not something that maybe you should turn down and work out for. At the very least.
The value is in the G League ticket sales. The value is to get...
It'd be insane.
Is to get...
It'd be yeah.
You're trying to get casual, average Joes like yourself who have declared that they're not interested in going to G League games. Bronny James would put your butt in the seats of the Valley Suns.
I would go. It's true.
There you go. There's all the evidence you need, folks.
Do you have any other thoughts on that? I really don't even know where to go with that. I think it's funny. I was not entirely surprised by it. I think that if you're the Suns and the Lakers, or I should say LeBron James, Clutch, come to you and they say, "Hey, we're only doing a few workouts. Do you want to work out Bronny James?" Yeah, sure. It's possible every team asked, and they're just like choosing the teams out there. And sure, that's probably all it is. Probably will lead to nothing. I appreciated that it gave us something to talk about at the beginning of this podcast. At the very least, I very much doubt that anything's happening here. And if you think that LeBron James is going to follow his son somewhere to sign a minimum contract, I got some snake oil to sell you, I think.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. I guess I suppose, like I said, undrafted, they could be trading for second round picks somewhere in here, right?
Yeah.
Like what if they trade 22 and get a bunch of second round picks because they think that's equivalent value, and one of those second round picks is like 53rd or something? Then yeah, okay. Here's another guy who's in your range.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like just about, if they get multiple second round picks, just about anywhere in the second round is, what if he is good? There's always that small possibility, and these guys will know more about that possibility than we do, hopefully. Oh, than you and I, for sure.
Than you and I, for sure. Yeah.
Let's get over to our friend Damon Allred, who's going to talk a little bit more about the draft. And yeah, we already recorded that. It's a good conversation. I think you're all going to enjoy it.
Listen, life's all about leveling up. Whether you're handling business on the field or kicking it in your zone, you like to celebrate with cigars that match the moment. That's why you should link up with Famous Cigars to bring you a wild deal. Right now, you can grab 8 premium cigars for just $8. You heard that right. 8 top-rated cigars at $1 a stick. Top quality brands like Oliva, Romeo y Julieta, and Davidoff. Hand-picked just for you and worth over $80. Hit up famouscigars.com/cam and lock in this exclusive deal. While you're there, check out their insane selection of premium cigars, all shipped fresh and fast from their massive 20,000 square foot humidor. That's half a football field. Famous Cigars has been in the game since 1939 and still family owned. So celebrate every win with the folks at Famous. 8 cigars for $8. famouscigars.com/cam.
Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
All right, joining us now is our friend and our favorite draft guy, Damon Allred, who works at ArizonaSports.com. How you doing, Damon?
I am incredible. How are you guys?
Not bad.
Also incredible.
A little nervous.
Incredible.
About, we were just talking before we started recording here, and I told the guys that I pulled out my laptop and I was ready to do research, and then I said, you know what? No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go into this completely blind because we're going to start another tradition, I think, because you did this last year with Damon, where you read us 2 real prospects and 1 fake prospect, and I try to figure out which one the fake one is, and I think that's going to be something that I'm going into completely blind, and I'm excited to try that with you, Damon.
And completely alone, it sounds like, by how Sam has prepared.
Yeah, Sam cheated.
I'm sorry. I didn't cheat. I've looked at big boards before. I've seen some names. I also just said to the guys, how the hell are we going to do an hour-long podcast about the draft if both Mike and I know literally nothing? Because people know that we're not draft guys, so to speak. But I was like, I need to look at names. So, Mike, I'll give you the first stab as Damon reads these out.
I will do that. Yeah,
and I will I will hold my mouth shut, and I feel like there's an 80 to 90% chance I won't know the answer anyway, but I'll give you that first chance. Okay?
We'll get to that in a little. Before we even get to that, I want to ask you, Sam, how much college basketball did you watch this last season?
Basically zero.
And
basically
not
zero.
Even tournament.
Yep. Not even tournament, man. I'm sorry.
Man, you guys would love this UConn
sorry.
team that's been going.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you say that?
Like Dan Hurley's system is tailor-made for the NBA, and we can talk about how that affects some of the UConn prospects, but Dan Hurley's just an incredible coach, always gets the most out of his guys.
So I think that you're hitting on something interesting there, because you're right. There's this macro level analysis of college basketball that is interesting to me insofar as we're talking about like trends, like long-term trends. But at the same time, I feel like I don't need to watch the games to know that. Like I could just.
That's what Damon's
I'm
for.
sorry.
Yeah.
Exactly. I can defer to the experts. I can defer to the scientists of college basketball who can tell me what the trends are and what direction and what it means for the NBA, which is my preferred brand of basketball to watch. And I don't actually need to watch the inferior basketball.
The inferior basketball.
By doing so. The inferior basketball. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I really appreciate. I feel like I stress this every year, Damon. I really appreciate what you do. You have all sorts of victory laps you get to take every year. As a matter of fact, I just saw in our Discord they were just posting how into Andrew Nimhard you were a couple years back.
I remember that.
And I feel like you deserve to take a victory lap about that right now, because he's kicking ass for the Pacers. The Pacers aren't kicking ass, but he's kicking ass in his first playoff run. So like I recognize that the work is hard and that it's valuable, and yeah, that's about it. I don't want to do the work myself. I'm sorry. I'm lazy. I can't be motivated. And yeah, that's all I could say about it.
That's okay. Time management is a real thing.
It's one of those things where I'm grateful somebody's doing it, but also I'm happy it's not me. And I'm saying that on Memorial Day, which is sort of how I feel about a lot of people that are in the military as well.
Good point.
Thank you for your service, Damon. I appreciate.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I mean, I don't know that I'm a military service person, but
as far as this podcast is, you're doing the work that we don't want to do, and I appreciate that. All right, let's get to this, and then we'll talk about the Suns. Let's start with the two prospects and a lie. I'm going to let you lead it, Damon, because I don't even remember how it went last year. I assume I embarrassed myself, and I'm excited to do that again right now.
Yeah, so I didn't go back and check. Maybe I should have how you guys did last year, but I want to start out with kind of a softball for the first one. So there are two prospects who are projected to go in the top three. That are, did I mention that they were French prospects that are projected to go in the top three? They are. So two of them are real and one of them is fake, of course.
Okay.
There is 7-foot skilled big man, Alexander Sarr. 6'4" combo guard, Olivier Quinn. 6'8" wing, Zachary Risacher.
Okay. And I'm going first, as we discussed, and I watched zero.
You should go first.
Zero college basketball. I know Sarr. I know that.
One of these guys I've literally name dropped on the pod, Mike, so I would be disappointed.
We talked about Sarr, and when guys are look in like big drafts that are like actually good drafts, usually I know a good amount of the first 10 picks or so. Especially if the Suns are picking, which they haven't in a while, so I haven't done the requisite research necessary. But at the very least, I understand that Sarr, didn't know his first name was fully Alexander. I've only seen Alex Sarr. So I know that he's up there. The other two names were, once again, I ask you to repeat them, Damon, and I'm going to be very particular about listening to how you pronounce them.
Do you want the positions and heights as well, or just the names?
Yes, sure.
6'4" combo guard, Olivier Quinn. 6'8" wing, Zachary Risacher.
Okay, I'm going to say Olivier is the fake one because
right.
I'm worried about it being a guard up high, and also that last name on that second one, don't even know how to say it, so I'm not even going to try, and I assume that that's something that maybe
Olivier?
you're putting it in there to throw me up. No, the last name of the second.
Oh, Risacher?
The third
Risacher,
prospect.
yeah.
So yeah. And Sam, what's your guess?
I'm gonna go with the same answer as you, Mike.
Okay.
That is correct. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. What I want to say here, Damon, if you could give us some insight on what the fuck are they putting in the water in France? Because my understanding of this draft class is so Risacher is a real prospect, Alex Sarr is a real prospect. There's another guy whose name I can't remember, but like I said, I saw a big board and I saw the country of origin, France, on another guy who's I think is a lottery prospect, like a late lottery prospect.
Tijan Saloon, I think is how you pronounce that one that you're thinking of.
So that's going to be 5 French lottery prospects in 2 years, because of course we have Wemby and Koulibaly, who were top 10 from this past season, and quite likely 2 number 1 overall picks from France. Is there a chance that we're talking about like 3 to 5 years from now, a French national team that is like on the level of Team USA? Is that possible?
No, I mean like France on this summer's radar for the Olympics. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of already considering them a threat, especially if Wemby plays. They've just been playing together for so long that I think that's the kind of thing that translates to winning in FIBA.
And they're at home too?
Yeah, they're at home as well in Paris. So, I mean, I think they'll give USA a run for the money if they match up in the Olympics.
Being that
I think
I'm not a draft guy, I'm a dumb guy here. Can I just say we'll talk about the draft as a whole. People are really painting. Like, I follow the conversation around the draft more than the players themselves, and people are talking about this as a not good draft, a draft where I've seen it described on Twitter as the number 1 pick in this draft could be the 7th or 8th pick in a previous draft, which would be Sarr, we're assuming. If you're going to do like a dumb guy player comp for what you think Alex Sarr is, for me, so that I could put it in my head just about the way people are talking.
For a pea-brained primate of course, such as Mike V. Hill.
Of course, he could be better. He could be better than that player comp. He could be worse than that player comp. There's no way of predicting how the careers actually go. But just as an idea of the type of guy that we're assuming that he's going to be and why people view it that way, what would you use as that comp?
So I actually have one that I've liked for quite a bit. And it's like if you make Victor Wembanyama a little more human in dimensions and take away a lot of his offensive skill set and make him just a little bit worse, then you've kind of got what Alex Sarr is.
Is Sarr, do you expect him to get
Wait, hold on. Damon, you took away a lot there because I feel like that description, that could describe me. Like, that could describe a lot of people.
Okay, yeah.
Sam speaks a little bit of French, it's true.
Sam, say a French word.
I'm not going to put myself on blast like that.
Can't say bonjour?
We're maybe that's for the Patreon podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
Our next Patreon pod will be entirely in French.
Okay.
Let's go.
With Greg from Discord. Because when you're talking about making him more human, like how human is he really?
So I have his combine measurements right in front of me. He measured in at 6'11.75", 224 pounds, and a 7'4.25" wingspan.
That's still quite big. That's quite big.
Like, are we talking like Daniel Gafford or like? Like, is this guy? Is he possibly going to be an all-star? I need a player's name, I guess, is what I'm asking you for.
Supercharged Daniel Gafford is kind of what I think of. I think
what
he's
a disaster.
I think he's more likely to be a pick and pop guy than Gafford was.
Oh, so he has touch, like shooting touch.
Well, so he didn't take very many threes this year for the Perth Wildcats.
Okay, so he's Dragan Bender. We're talking about Dragan Bender here, aren't we?
No, because I think with Sarr, there's like a genuine amount of he will completely destroy everything your offense is trying to do, just in terms of how switchable he is, how good he is on help defense, all that sort of stuff. There was, I don't know if you guys remember when they did the Wemby versus Scoot game of Ignite versus that French team.
Of course.
They did a similar thing this year with Ignite and Perth. So they had Ignite going against Sarr and his pro team. And he just made the Ignite guys look foolish on offense. And I know it wasn't a very good Ignite team this year, but just the amount of disruption he's able to cause is quite overwhelming.
How much did you say he weighs? Like
224.2.
224. I'm trying to think of like an NBA physical comp, like 6'10", 7'3", 7'4"-ish wingspan.
Jonathan Isaac.
Gavoni has been doing like
that kind of feels like Pascal Siakam-ish.
I guess Jonathan Isaac is 7-foot wingspan. I just looked it up.
I think that's kind of Siakam-ish.
Yeah, maybe.
If I can but I again have not watched the tape. Don't know how he plays. To me, feels like a pretty good physical profile. Like if you're talking about that as like Wemby but more human, he still sounds pretty 97th percentile of all humans in terms of their physical attributes.
Probably closer to 99. Yeah.
So I got his measurement comp that Gavoni used from ESPN. He compared him to 2001 Tyson Chandler.
Oh, interesting.
Wow,
yeah,
that's interesting.
And a potential for shooting. So yeah, that's the future of bigs, I guess.
He has the touch, but like we were talking about, just didn't really do a ton of it this season for Perth.
All right, let's go to the next one.
All right, so these are the guys that I'd be into for the Suns at number 22. First, we have 6'7", small ball 5, Josh Milton. 6'3", point guard, Tyler Kolek. 6'10", forward, Bobby Klintman.
Okay, can you repeat those one more time for me?
6'7", small ball 5, Josh Milton. 6'3", point guard, Tyler Kolek. And 6'10", forward, Bobby Klintman.
Okay, I'm going to go with the first one, and I'm just trying to reach in those recesses of my brain that has seen these names on Twitter as I scroll past those tweets, so I'm hoping.
Give me a fun fact about Josh Milton. Does he come from like a rich, family?
You got to
like,
choose first, Sam.
Is he a righty?
You're trying to get more information
He's a lefty.
than I got.
He's a lefty.
Yeah.
What makes him a small ball 5? How about that?
His rim protection.
His rim protection. Okay, but he's 6'7". He protects the rim well?
As Draymond?
All right. He can shoot?
Can't shoot, but is switchable enough to be a small ball 5.
That makes him a 5.
Okay, then he's a
Being
5.
able to shoot.
This guy doesn't exist. Josh Milton does not exist. That is a General Mills cereal ass name if I've ever heard one. Josh Milton is not.
Yeah, you're right.
All right.
Got him.
Does that mean I was wrong? I already forget what I picked.
No, you picked Milton.
No, you were also.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I've tweeted about Kolek a pretty good amount.
I think that's
so.
where I saw his name, yeah.
I know Tyler Kolek. The other guy I don't know, and I want to talk about him in a sec. But let's talk about Tyler Kolek real quick. Here's what I know about him. He's 23 years old. He's a point guard he's a small point guard, right, Damon?
6'3"
if anything I say is wrong. 6'3". Okay, that's actually not that small. I thought he was smaller than that.
Actually,
6'1.25"
at the combine without shoes.
Right,
okay, without shoes. Is it fair to say, like, we're talking about older point guard? What college did he play for?
Marquette.
Marquette. Mm-hmm. Older point guard, statistically impressive profile, resume.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe the measurables or the athleticism is more of like the sticking point for him, plus like just age. Like, are we talking about, is this a ceiling conversation with why Tyler Kolek isn't being talked about as a higher prospect, or just how do you feel about him generally?
Yeah, it's the typical red flags that draft people like that you mentioned, the age and athleticism, those sorts of things. But I think it really counts for something how he kind of took control of the Marquette program. He got there the same time that head coach Shaka Smart got there, and they kind of turned Marquette back into like a real national power of a program. So I think that counts for something. He led the Big East in assists per game all 3 years he was there, and led the nation his final year as well. Like a 1.456 points per possession when you factor in assists, which is 98th percentile. So he's just like an insane profile. But yeah,
like a game manager of sorts, like a pure point guard in an era where there aren't pure point guards anymore. We just kind of like can do anything. I'm looking at his stats here. His per 40 minute stats this year. Again, we're talking about a 23-year-old prospect. So you would expect these guys who are entering the NBA draft to be more statistically impressive than their raw counterparts. But per 40 minutes for Marquette this year, 19 points, 6 rebounds, 9.5 assists, 2 steals, 50 from the field, 39 from deep, 85 from the free throw line. I see basically no weaknesses. Just statistically.
Yeah.
So that just looks rock solid.
Can I say, though, I might go insane if the Suns pick a guard.
Why? Okay, let's talk that through.
Yes.
Why?
I think it's an important thing. Because they just don't have players that are big that played well on the team outside of Kevin Durant in last year. None. And this is not to say they can't fix that problem in other ways. And it is not even to say that picking a guard might not be a bad choice. Like, it might actually be a good choice. The question is with point guards often is, are they able to produce immediately, and can they be effective right away? Because if the Suns are essentially picking a point guard to be the backup point guard this season, then is this the guy who could do that? If he can, then that's great. That's really nice. But often one of the most difficult things to get in the NBA is skills at size, and the idea of using maybe the last swing at the ball here, you kind of want them to find somebody who's a little bit taller, because I think they get paid so much in the NBA later in their careers. It's difficult to get them back when in free agency or trades.
Absolutely, but I think actually you just hit on something philosophically really interesting that I want to throw back to Damon too, which is like, Damon, should the Suns be narrowing their focus only to players who they believe could contribute immediately?
I think that you should at least get people who can contribute immediately, maybe aren't close to what they're going to be right off the bat, like still room to improve, but can give you something in the beginning at the very least. Can eat minutes.
Something.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, not necessarily like an impact playoff rotation player.
I mean, if you can find it, great, but at the very least.
But I feel like that's
like what are the good examples of that?
A lot of the guys.
Like we have Derek Lively now. That's a higher pick than the Suns are going to pick, but that's like that best example of like a player coming through and being successful immediately.
Christian Brown comes to mind. Yeah,
Christian Brown from
years. but to your point there, Mike, Derek Lively was drafted at 19 years old, which is kind of why I reject like this notion that anyone you can get. You have to draft a 22, 23-year-old guy, otherwise he won't be able to contribute immediately. Yes. I don't believe that. I don't think that should limit the Suns in their process. There are probably 19, 20-year-olds who they could draft at 22 who could contribute immediately. You just need the right system.
Age is cool. 6'1.5" without shoes on, that's a little... That's
okay. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
That's the number that's scaring me here.
What did Jalen Brunson do in this year's playoffs? That's the only thing I'll say.
And he was picked late too. Yeah.
These small guys, they're picked late for a reason, but honestly, they're really fun to root for.
They always could Damon, be the right pick. It's just one of those things that no matter what, I think if the Suns pick a point guard, they will immediately receive flack for it. And it's not to say that it would be the wrong pick, because a great player, if they turn out to be the best player they could pick at that position or at that pick, regardless of what position they play, it would be good for the team overall in the long run, whether they end up on the team or they end up trading him.
Who was the third player you had there, Damon? Remind me and tell us why you like him. Also,
that was Bobby Klintman, who is from Sweden originally, has played at Wake Forest and also played in the NBL this past season for the Cairns Taipans. He measured in at 6'8.75" with a 6'11" wingspan and 212 pounds. So we're looking at kind of like a 3-4 swing forward kind of guy who can play next
Cam Johnson.
Yeah, a little bit of Cam Johnson size wise at least.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's the shooter that Cam was.
No. I only meant as like the physical profile. I'm not talking about the play style at all.
Anyway, Klintman, I really like him as a mover. I think he moves really well on both ends. He's always moving around on offense.
Suns aren't allowed to do that, actually.
Yeah, good point. But he's just a really good mover. Can switch 1 through 4 probably. Good enough on offense as a mover where he's cutting a good amount of time and setting screens. Just very active kind of guy. He's someone that I've kind of circled as a could contribute stuff right away.
Okay. When I think about the types,
Mike, are you satisfied?
Yeah.
Here's your not 6'1" prospect, a bigger wing who could contribute from day one.
From the dumb guy couch that I am on for this podcast, that sounds great. Just from a physical profile. Now, can he play defense? I guess is my question. And also, too, when I think of wings and the types of guys that James Jones seems to like, they tend to be smart. Whether they're great defenders or not, they're smart defenders. So, regardless of their actual ability, somebody like Cam Johnson's capable when it comes to being smart. And then in the assist-to-turnover ratio, that seems like something that I always look at when it comes to James Jones guys. How does he look in those kinds of ways, Damon?
So I've seen possessions where he's just mirroring like straight up shifty guards as they're like trying to break him down, and he's just mirroring their every move, and it looks great. Possessions where he has defended better than, we've mentioned Cam Johnson as a physical comparison, better than Cam Johnson has defended at any point. I've seen possessions like that, but I've also seen his effort kind of wane, and so you're hoping that maybe in an NBA context, he's more apt to kind of bring it 100% of the time. And obviously that's something that's going to be a red flag to James, but yeah.
Yeah, probably a smaller role on a team like the Suns, right? I would imagine.
Yeah, a good amount of time at Mullet Arena as well, I would imagine.
Right.
Oh, good point. Good point.
Congratulations,
David, how excited
Damon,
are
by the
you?
way. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm very excited. I'm planning to go to every game I can.
Yes, that's what I love to hear. We have a correspondent,
That's
G
right.
League correspondent.
Yeah,
I'm sure you
All
can.
right,
You
that's
should be
amazing.
able to get in there media-wise, right? They should be able. We'll
for
fight for
sure,
you if they
for
don't
sure.
let you in there like that. Don't pay
Yeah.
for it, is what I'm saying.
I mean, I'm down to go for free.
Yeah, you should. That's great. I'm happy for you. I'm happy we have. It seems like maybe they'll actually, at the very least, they'll fill out that roster with undrafted players, which, there are organizations that find guys that way as well.
There's also
let's
the
use-
expansion draft, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's right. That could be interesting too. in the
Yeah.
future.
Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
All right, let's do the next one.
Yeah, so this is kind of more of a fun one, maybe a little bit more a softball one for Mike. It's guys who played high school at a public school in Arizona.
Oh no,
Guys who played high school at a public school in Arizona.
that's
Okay,
not going to
all right.
help me at all. Yeah.
We know there's lots of the national prep guys that go to the NBA, but the public school ones feel a little bit more special. So 6'8" wing Cody Williams, 6'10" combo big Deron Holmes, 6'2" guard Miles Jones.
I know one of these guys.
I'm going to
but
say
only one.
Miles Jones is the fake one because it sounds like a fake name. But so does Cody
Miles
Williams.
Jones.
To be fair, but
Miles Jones sounds fake to me too. But for the sake of a little bit of diversity here, I'll go with Cody Williams. I know Deron Holmes. I know people have been in my mentions saying the Suns should draft Deron Holmes. We'll talk about Deron Holmes in a minute.
Yeah.
But Cody Williams is fake.
That is wrong, Sam. Miles
Oh,
Jones
no.
is
All right.
fake.
You should have just
All right, Miles
not
Jones-
researched like me.
and I would have won. All right, who is what the hell did I just say? Who is Cody Williams? Who is that?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to, for the next time I do this, I'm going to have to pick like real people, but people who don't fit into the category at all.
That's a good idea. Pick
So-
assistant coaches' names.
Yeah. But anyway, Cody Williams went to Perry High School in Arizona. That's over in the Gilbert region. Cody is projected to go probably top 10. He is the younger brother of Oklahoma City Thunder wing Jalen Williams.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jalen also went
Which
to Perry. J-Dub.
Okay, got it.
J-Dub, the good
Yeah.
one.
The better-
I mean,
the better
they're both
one.
kind of good,
Yeah.
but the better one.
The superstar, and many are saying.
Yeah.
And he had he had a very disappointing season at Colorado from what many of us were expecting. And what I think he's capable, to be honest, I think he's capable of much more than what he showed. He's just going to take a little bit of time. His brother was a late bloomer too. His brother went to Santa Clara for 2 years and then was able to go on to the NBA. Cody's a little bit ahead of him, so he's able to go as a one and done. And Jalen was also sort of the way Cody is, where Jalen's body started to fill out later and put on muscle later in a big way. And Cody's just pretty rail thin right now. He actually measured in pretty okay for what I was I guess actually not okay, but better than what I was expecting. He was 178.4 at the combine, and at 6'6.5", that's not what you're looking for.
That is quite thin.
Yeah, so you started to see some of the muscle come on in the past year because he was even thinner, of course, at Perry, and you start to feel better about the physical development when you start to see that muscle come in, but the play didn't really match up with the muscle coming in. So it's just going to take some time with him. I think he might be a guy that spends a lot of time in the G League, even though he's pretty safely going to be a lottery pick, I think.
He falls low on the nepotism rankings of this draft, I think, based on some other guys that we've talked about already. But is it possible? Does OKC have like 5 picks where they could potentially pick him, I imagine? So maybe he just ends up being there so that they can guarantee to keep Jalen Williams for a long time.
I think they have a pick at 12, and it would. Yeah. I would love it, truthfully.
Damon, speaking of teams with 5 picks, real quick, I'm realizing I wanted to get your take on would you entertain the idea of trading 22 for like a bunch of second round picks or kind of just like turning it into more assets than the Suns currently have?
Yes.
That's something that, people have thrown around online as a possibility.
Yes, 1,000%, very strongly, firmly, yes.
What about 31?
Okay, cool, yeah.
31,
let's say 31 for 2 first round picks from OKC.
As in, he's talking about 2031.
2031 for 2 first round picks this year?
Or this year and next year, maybe.
No.
One this year, one next year?
This year and next year, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I'm saying OKC has a bunch. They're not going to be able to use all of them. Maybe they will, just stack guys in the G League. But
I kind of was eyeing the 2031 pick as an asset I'd like to use to trade for like a more ready-made point guard who can more reliably contribute right away than like a Tyler Kolek
can.
I
think it's possible they could do that. Oh, that's interesting, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a possibility they could trade somebody like Nurkic in 31 for a player who could play now plus a pick or 2.
Plus 10 second-round picks, if you're believing me from last week.
Right, of course, yeah. the episode where Sam went insane, yeah.
Yeah. You still haven't quite come down from that, maybe a little bit, but, I'm still on my
What's confusing
shit.
about it is, in some ways, it made you the biggest Yusuf Nurkic fan in the world. Because as far as valuing him, you value him higher than anyone I've seen.
For the next 6 weeks, I need to be. There is no bigger Yusuf Nurkic fan than me.
Yeah.
And I'm literally blocked on Twitter by Yusuf Nurkic.
He's pushing the agenda, even with the block.
Yeah. We have agendas to push.
Yeah. He needs more blocks as far as I'm concerned.
Did we talk about Deron Holmes
We
yet?
did not.
No? Okay, let's talk about Deron Holmes, because this is an interesting guy, I think. Yes, local Valley product.
I'm going to Google him real quick.
Or is it just an Arizona product? I don't know.
He's born in Goodyear, according to the internet. So yes,
yeah,
local.
he played at Millennium for a little bit before he went on to transfer to AZ Compass, one of those preps. He also has a younger brother, Cameron Holmes, who's an even better prospect than he was. He's a 5-star in the 2026 class, so he's someone that I've been watching a lot. A lot of fun. Anyway, Deron,
I see just real quick about the things I like. I mean, again, not a guy, a junior here with Dayton, not a lot of statistical holes. Bringing the points, bringing the rebounds, a little bit of assists, rim protection.
A little bit of threes.
What I particularly
38%
like, Damon, you know me too well, 38% from 3 on 2.5 attempts, not a ton. But I also see from freshman to sophomore to junior, about a 15% increase in his free throw percentage that's basically linear across the 3 seasons. I love prospects who just come in and work really hard, and within 2 or 3 years, you just see that jump in their free throw shooting percentage, maybe their three-point percentage too, but it just gives you faith that maybe they can really build a foundation for a successful jump shooting career at the NBA level. So what do you think? How versatile is this guy?
Well, all the intel about him as a worker is that just glistening. That he's an incredible worker. You mentioned the 3-point shooting taking a jump this season. He tested the NBA waters last year, and they told him that he's got to become a better 3-point shooter to have a real chance at being a good NBA player. And just over the course of one summer, became a good 3-point shooter. And you mentioned the free throw shooting that kind of indicates good things as well. He's a guy who can pick and pop. He can shoot from the corner. He can, at times, shoot off the dribble, but you wouldn't love it. Things like trailer threes he can hit, but can also take it inside, can drive a little bit, can drive through contact and other bigs, can finish really well at the rim.
How about defensively? Are we talking about a pure rim protector or a guy who can survive, kind of a little bit further out?
He can drift a little bit. We're probably talking 3 through 5 for Deron. Getting better with the feet over the 3 years that he was at Dayton. It's improving every year, which is what you like to see. But he's definitely not one that you're going to send against ones and twos every possession.
Mike, I don't know about you, but I'm hearing drop defender who shoots threes at the next level.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Is Budenholzer in love?
Where's
there a better?
Where's he expected to go in the draft, I guess?
Early 20s, late teens.
Okay, so this is a
right.
possibility.
He's right in
for
our
the
range.
Suns. Okay.
I've seen him right in our range in big board. Yeah.
I would be very, very excited if that was the pick.
All right. Do you have any more prospects?
I do. I have one more. It's
Okay.
a guys I'd love to get on the Valley Suns.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah.
are
Like
these
undrafted?
undrafted? Or yeah, okay.
Well, some people have pointed out too. For those who don't remember, partially because the Suns are stupid, but there's only 58 picks this year.
Yeah. Drew Eubanks was one.
So
yeah.
because Drew Eubanks lost us a second-round pick. And who's the other team that lost a
Sixers.
second-round pick? The Sixers. That's right. So there's only 58 picks, so that means, technically there are going to be 2 undrafted guys this year who you're getting at a discount if you think about it in those terms. Maybe there'll be a hot undrafted market for guys who can go straight to certain G League teams or play on 2-way contracts or something.
Yeah, and with the many years of going through draft night and seeing the Suns make no activity with undrafted guys, I'm excited for this year to finally be different. But
all right, let's. What's this last one?
So they're all 6'7" wings. There's Tyon Grant Foster is one, Arthur Kaluma is another, and Harris Dijon is another.
I mean, I have no idea. Repeat the names.
Tyon Grant Foster.
Give us you. Okay, he's real.
Arthur.
What's his birth sign?
His birth sign?
What's his birth sign? Yeah, give me something, man. You got to give me a birth sign.
That guy has
Is
3
he an
names.
Aries?
I mean, that's more than most.
Is he 3 names? I believe that Damon wouldn't have invented 3 names.
That's-
I
I'm
can
leaning
give schools
towards
for
that
these
as well.
guys.
Okay.
So okay, sure, go.
Tyon
ahead.
Grant Foster from Grand Canyon, Arthur Kaluma from Kansas State.
You hesitated.
I did hesitate a little bit. And Harris Dijon went to Texas.
Middle guy's fake.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and also that name just sounds so Texas. So, yeah.
You guys have been fooled.
Oh no!
No, he got us.
baited
Oh,
us.
he's too
He
good.
baited us.
No,
He's
so
too
the
good.
hesitation was not on purpose. I genuinely had forgotten which school he was at this year for a second because I'm more familiar with his Creighton tape from a year ago, but was
Okay.
at Kansas State this year.
Well, I would have believed that you were manipulating us intentionally. So congratulations.
I have been known to gaslight,
all right.
so.
So basically, what I'm hearing though is you're looking for guys to fill the G League roster who are, could become playable NBA wings, guys of a certain physical profile.
Yeah, these
Right?
are the guys
Can
who-
either of those guys shoot?
All of them have a little bit of a shooting profile, but maybe not guys that you would be like, yes, he will shoot in the NBA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we want to, do we want to get into the guys at all?
Well, I think
Sure.
I actually want to get over to some of the bigger names that could be available for the Suns at 22, and just talk about that from a general perspective. Because let's start here. I haven't read your article on purpose, right? I skipped it to make sure I didn't have any special information available to me. Damon, when you think about the Suns picking at 22, are you just thinking about pick the best player you could possibly get with that pick? It might be the last pick that you make in a long time. Is that like what you're thinking?
Ideally, what I'd like to find is someone with high floor but long-term high ceiling, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the
that
goal.
makes perfect
That's
sense.
the goal with the pick, especially later in the draft, right? You're not entirely ceiling related, like if you're picking first or second or something like that. But yeah, if you're picking later in the draft, you're looking for a role player that could potentially have a breakout season at some point. So that makes sense to me.
And that's why Duran is a guy that I like, because the shooting projection, if it really hits and he becomes like a Brook Lopez kind of shooter, then suddenly you're looking at a guy who could potentially make all-star teams, potentially win awards of other kinds and things like that.
Sure.
But for now, I think he would just be like a really, really solid bench big. Much more solid than Drew Eubanks was, at least.
Zach Edey.
I wanted to bring him up.
We have to talk
name.
about him.
Yeah.
It's a name that I've heard of. That means other people have. And
yeah,
he's projected around the Suns' range. He could go higher because, well, you know why. I mean, he's
Or
just
lower.
somebody who his name was talked about a lot. He could go lower. That's true.
Two-time National Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Means something.
Yep.
It means
can I just
something
read out?
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It means something. 7'3.5", 300 pounds, 7'10.5" wingspan.
710.75, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 7'10.75" wingspan. Damon, explain to us. I think I already know the answer, but maybe explain to everyone else. If people are confused, maybe they're new to the NBA, how is it possible that a National Player of the Year at the college level who is 7'3.5" with a 7'11" wingspan, how could that be a prospect that is being talked about in the 15 to 30 range?
Well, his feet aren't great defensively, and as a big, that can be troublesome in the NBA when you get put in pick and rolls like 24/7, because that's just how teams attack you if that's the kind of big you are. He doesn't, well, I don't know, I don't want to say doesn't, but didn't do anything outside of the post in college. I think he maybe attempted like 2 threes in his entire career, and people laughed at it when he did it. I don't think anyone's expecting him to come in and be someone that you're reliably getting 35+% on threes at any point in his career, which
one of the most predictable things happening was him hitting a few threes at the combine, and that tweet really going viral immediately, right?
yeah, because like
when nobody's guarding wide open, these guys tend to make the threes.
Yeah, and it's just a little bit troublesome because like I saw my old SB Nation editor, Ricky O'Donnell, who does great draft work, had Zach Edey mocked to the Suns at one point in the cycle, and I think I literally replied and was like, please don't put that wickedness on me.
Okay, so you don't want this.
I
That's
don't
just
want
something
this.
you absolutely don't want. If the Suns picked Edey, you would consider that a failure.
Would Zach Edey, would that feel like a Matt Ishbia watched one college
Yes.
game and was like, we got to draft this guy?
100%.
And they
How did
didn't
he
actually
play
put in the
against
work
Michigan
on scouting?
State? Did they play against Michigan State this year?
Yeah, they did.
And did he have a good game? Because now I'm a little worried.
Let me see.
That's hilarious. You're going to wildly swing the betting odds based on...
That's interesting. Can I look this up for a second?
Yeah, sure. And Sam,
ahead,
did you
we
have any
can-
thoughts on Zach Edey while he does look that up?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the guys who I actually have seen like just highlights of and a ton of people talking about. And I don't know. I think like I defer to Damon's expertise in saying I understand why this guy isn't a lottery pick.
Well,
If all these
let me
people
say
are saying
this.
he's not a lottery pick, I get it. I think someone who is this dominant at the college level, as long as his work ethic is good, which I don't know anything about, but like I would think he'd be able to carve out some sort of role in the NBA, just maybe not as a high level, like starting caliber center.
Well,
Maybe he's an elite backup big.
if the Suns pick him, we can blame Matt Ishbia if we want. But let's just say this: a big, tall, white center who plays smart and doesn't move his feet well on defense. That's a James Jones type. That's not a Matt Ishbia type. James Jones has signed 12 of those guys. Like there's a bunch. I mean, we got Dario Saric, Frank Kaminsky, Aaron Baines.
Yeah, but they always
Nurkic.
shoot. What you're missing? What
Yeah.
you're missing is they always shoot and they pass. And I don't know if Edey does either. Can he pass?
think he can
Damon? I know
pass,
you're
right?
still looking it up.
He passes in the sense that like bigs who get doubled can pass. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's what you
Okay.
need, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna draft Zach Edey at 22, and we're gonna run a post-heavy 1994 Patrick Ewing type offense for him, because that's exactly what KD wants the Suns to do anyway. So there you go, post-heavy offense. He'll draw in the double team and kick it out to guys who like to take mid-range shots.
How did he play against Michigan State?
So he averaged in 2 games 30.5 points,
Uh-oh.
11.5 rebounds,
Oh, my God.
and 2 blocks.
Okay.
Shot 60% in both games.
Cage,
That's
if you're
that's
listening,
incredible.
start the Photoshops now.
Yeah. It's so I don't know if you guys have ever heard the name Tyler Hansbrough.
Of course.
Sorry about my PlayStation making noises, by the way.
It's all good.
Hansbrough didn't turn out so well in the NBA.
Yeah, I remember.
The National Player of the Year, it feels like that sort of thing. I think if you're making the pitch for Edey, the pitch is that he is an incredible worker, because that is the intel on him. He's an incredible worker, and I think his best case scenario is that he's a solid notch or two above Drew Eubanks.
Okay.
A notch or two above Drew Eubanks.
The Ringer, I'm looking at the Ringers. They have shades of Zubats, which is like, okay, if the Suns pick Zubats, that'd be great.
Wrong, but okay.
I mean, that would be good, right? That would be a good scenario. Zubats came in the NBA an okay defender and became a better one over time. And, to be fair, so did Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez came into the NBA kind of a bad defender. That was his reputation for a long time. Now, of course, is in the running for Defensive Player of the Year multiple years in a row. And I'm not saying that somebody like Bud could fix a guy like this, but, I don't know. Maybe they see something that we don't. There's another guy that ESPN has to the Suns. Do you know who I'm going to ask you about, Damon?
I don't. This is curious.
Let's see. Am I looking at the right year? Let me make sure.
Oh, no.
I am. Kyle Filipowski. Is that how you say it?
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
That is how you
that would have
say
been
it.
so funny if you were like...
Yeah. 2025.
Christian
draft
Brown.
Day'Ron Sharp,
Yeah.
Christian Brown.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, who is
I
it?
recognize, at least once they get to the NBA, I know their names at the very least.
Yeah. Kyle Filipowski. He shoots, right? Isn't he a shooter? Am I wrong?
He's a mid-range shooter.
Okay, never mind. I must have seen the wrong thing.
He does shoot a little bit of threes. Definitely more than Edey did. But it's not like... He likes to live in the mid-range and work out of that. Shot 34.8% on 3.1 threes.
Okay.
But he likes to live in the mid-range, does not defend real well at all against any position, frankly. Can't really dribble other than like post dribbles, and can't really pass other than like, oh, I see the help is coming, I can make the quick touch pass. Just
like
not
you
a
hate
ton
him.
there. I don't like him.
Yeah.
It was real disappointing when I saw him mocked to the Suns. Yeah, I'm not a big Filipowski guy.
All right,
He's
all right, we'll take that.
Outside my first round.
Oh.
Is there
interesting.
anyone else? Anyone
James
else
Jones
in the
is
22
interested
range
Okay.
who you absolutely need to get a take on, kind of before we end this here?
Well, you guys were bringing up like the younger players and how they might bring some more upside. One player I did think of when you guys were talking about it was Bub Carrington, who is the youngest player or youngest American player in the class. He's 6'3.75 without shoes, 195, 6'8 wingspan, and had a triple-double in his first collegiate game this year at Pitt. Can do a lot. Can really be creative with the ball. It's just that he's really young and there's a lot of mistakes. And not super great about going to the basket every time. There's that sort of red flag. But there's enough there where you're like, that's an upside pick I can feel good about. Send him to Tempe and feel great about 6 months from now.
I'm sorry to ask for the clarification. What Carrington? What's the first name?
Well, so he goes by Bub Carrington.
He goes by Bub, but is this Carlton Carrington you're talking
yeah.
about? Because I just me like a fool, like an absolute clown, looking up Bub Carrington in college basketball reference, and just no one comes up.
Yeah,
So,
Carlton.
okay, this is Carlton Carrington. Gotcha.
But goes by
gotcha.
Bub.
And he's like a combo guard, you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Not much of a point guard, but the Suns really they fielded a roster full of shooting guards last year. Why not?
Yeah, I'd say he was more of a point guard than most of the people who played point guard this season.
Okay, fair.
What I will say, drafting Devin Booker ushered the Suns out of the era of Eric Bledsoe and Brandon Knight, and there would be something ironic to drafting another combo guard who can usher them out of an era of Devin Booker and Bradley Beal.
Well, you guys know how I
maybe
feel
it
about
maybe it all comes
names.
full circle.
Names when it comes to these guys. And Bub Carrington, come on, that's a great name.
It is a great
Nah,
name.
I'm into that. All right. Well, Damon, anyone else that you could think of that you would like the Suns to look at with 22? Or names that other people might get at us with that you think other people are talking about right now?
One name that I've heard a lot, but I don't get a ton for the Suns is Yves Missy, who is
Yes.
Oh, I know him.
a
I saw him.
center from Baylor. What do you think about him, Sam?
Oh, you want my expert opinion on no?
Well, I'm just curious
what I saw-
to gauge where you're at with him.
So what I saw is that he's raw, right? Like this is one of the raw prospects. He's the Cameroonian guy. Am I right
Yep.
about that? Yeah. So big wingspan, raw, skinny prospect.
Well, 230.
I think what I saw about this, what I saw about Yves Missy was like Raptors prospect. Like I don't actually know where the Raptors are even drafting, but like I saw people say like, oh, that's a Raptors prospect. Like there's a vibe. There's an archetype now
Does that mean he
where
can't,
it's
does
like
that mean
if
he
you're
can't shoot? I'm guessing.
the 19
no, he's not a shooter.
19-year-old,
Yeah.
just like the uber athletic
Long-
but can't shoot wings,
Yeah.
who you hope can one day just like develop out the skills. Like that's the Raptors archetype. So I feel like that's not something the Suns can afford to take a gamble on, but is interesting as a concept for sure.
Yeah, I like him as a rim runner. He's probably I like him more as a passer than Edie, but a lot of people are talking about him as this high upside swing, and I don't know that I see that with him.
Okay.
All right, Damon, thank you so much for joining us and doing all this preparation and work. You really basically produced this part of the podcast for us, so we appreciate that. Follow Damon on Twitter at I am Damon Allred. Check out his work at arizonasports.com. Damon, is there anything else that you'd like to tell the people about?
No, just watch the draft, be excited about it, and go to Tempe and support the pick.
Absolutely agree with you on that last point, but not even, Damon, not even a plea. Using your time to make a plea to James Jones to not trade this draft pick, to not
He doesn't
stab you
listen.
in the
He's
chest.
not going to listen to me.
I know he doesn't listen, but he stabbed us in the chest year after year after year.
I'll make one
and
plea.
I feel
All
Pick-
right.
okay.
Pick an undrafted person who I've heard of. That's my plea. Setting
right.
the bar
That
low.
would be wonderful.
I appreciate
Wonderful.
that.
We fully support you in that endeavor.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Damon. And thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll have another episode coming out midweek for our Patreon. If you'd like to join, patreon.com/thetimeline. And we're going to find new ways to use our playback pretty soon, and we'll let you know about that when we figure it out. We appreciate you all, and we'll be back soon.
Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.